On to the next one, which I found very funny, and we can make this into a quick little lesson. DJ Envy from the Breakfast Club is being sued by Coachella. Okay. I think this year or last year, he changed his car show and called it Carchella. And he actually was on the Breakfast Club not too long ago speaking about it, saying, hey, I asked my lawyers. I have lawyers in several states. I asked them. They said it shouldn't be a problem. Charlemagne said I'm going to get sued. And come to find out, get sued. But my lawyers say I have a good chance. Like, I have a good chance. And if we win, this is actually great for a lot of small businesses. And the funny thing is that Angela and Charlemagne was like, yo, just change the name. It's not even that deep. It really,
Right.
the font's the same. The cello, like it's too similar, right? But DJ Envy like went through the trademark, all that great stuff, and it got approved. But still got sued. So I wanted to bring this up because there's a lot of people who are starting new businesses or starting new products, ventures, things like that. And it's almost impossible to come up with a name that isn't used.
Mm-hmm.
Like the names that we instantly come up with, we look it up, it's trademarked, the website's taken. If we do find the website, it costs $10,000. It's just, wait, what? So how am I supposed, so am I supposed to say, if I wanted to do New York, I'm supposed to put N and then the E, but it's a 3, like the common, you always want to think about names as something that people could easily spell and easily say, but those are all taken.
Yeah.
So now if I could spin off of something that people already know and then just put like combined it because it's already taken, but I'm not necessarily taking that particular name, what's the problem? Now, I say just stay clear of it. Like with all, if you can, just stay far, far away. Me and my team struggle with names all the time. All the time.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where the best practice is like you have to come up with like 3 words, right? I'm coming up with 4 or 5 words. You just whatever.
Yeah.
I don't really care anymore because it's all taken. So I wanted your take on this, where should he fight for it? And what is your experiences with trying to figure out a name and this, that, and the third? Because I'll give my example of the whole beast mode thing and how I had to change my name.
Yeah, I still remember that. I mean, but you know what? This too reminds me of the Michael B. Jordan situation, because that was a similar conversation where he named his brand, I think not necessarily something that was already used, but it just had different meaning in a different culture.
Yeah.
And that created kind of some backlash. So it reminds me of a very similar situation. But when it comes to this one, I don't know that it's worth it, right? Like when I think of DJ Envy, I don't necessarily think of car shows. So if it was something down your lane, like it's what you're known for, it's your specialty, it's what makes you you, by all means, maybe it's worth the legal battle because you're like, hey, this is about DJing, this is about radio show, this is about music. Then I would say, you know what? Yep, I'm with you. Put your dollars behind it, get that name because it is what makes you you, or you've contributed enough to that industry, you want that all back.
Right.
But something as it relates to cars, that seems to me, at least the way I've seen him talk about it and brand it, it's more of a hobby.
Yes.
That he's turned into an event that I don't know, Nix, that it's worth going into a legal battle to get it straightened out. You know, and I think the other part that shows that the idea or the name might lack some level of originality is, well, it's using the same font. like if it was like, nah, it was an honest, just kind of name, maybe, I don't know, subconsciously I was thinking of the concert and thought it'd be a good idea to bridge the two together. But the fact that the font is also very similar, it lets you know that you intentionally wanted to ride off of that, idea with Coachella, of course. And that's kind of what created that. So I don't know. For me, I say when you're going into it, if it's in your industry, it's what you're known for, I think in that case, yeah, you can justify a legal battle. But if it's a hobby, I don't know that it's worth it.
Well, I think when we think of envy, of course, we think of, I think in this order, Breakfast Club, DJ, clearly, real estate, and then cars, because he does have a good amount of cars. Yeah. And he is known, like you say, as a hobby and monetized his hobby with the cars. Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah.
But I think with it being a hobby and, though he is definitely respected in the car community, it doesn't outweigh the power that you have with the Breakfast Club and, with real estate and things like that. If it was a name you came up with for them, absolutely. But if it's for a hobby, I would have to agree. Because listen, and like I said, I had to change my business name. From the beginning, we were called Beast Mode Digital. Ain't nobody was called Beast Mode Digital. Now, Beast Mode was taken, Marshawn Lynch trademarked it, all that great stuff.
Yeah.
But there wasn't anything towards a media space. And that's where how some of these people are able to trademark and use these names, because if it's done in a different industry, you can still do it. Now, somebody had a similar, not the same, not exactly Beast Mode Digital, but something similar that if we was to trademark it, it could, like, depending who their lawyers are, it could be an issue. And that's what I found out from a legal standpoint. It really just depends how serious they want to get it. Like, are they that anal that they want to stick lawyers on you? Depending how big you grow and, and I'm like, so this isn't even really a true requirement. This is just more if they feel annoyed that day and they feel like you're a threat, then they'll stick the lawyers out on you. I don't like legal. I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I think, what's funny is that as I thought about your situation as it relates to the name.
Yeah.
And I feel like the fact that you extended the name a little bit, it actually gives more context to what you do. So in a way, I think, it's been beneficial. So yeah, it's interesting to see what happens on that side.
Well, that was deeper than the brand. But Envy, DJ Envy, if you ever listen to this podcast, we appreciate you. The Carchella looked amazing. But we agree with your co-host. Just change the name. We'll be there anyways. Doesn't matter about the name. It's what you do. And you do it very well. So just change the name. Did you see, side note, did you see that he's going back to his seminars in real estate, and Jamal King is going to be part of the seminar? I'm just saying.
I sure did. I'm like, our very own Black Panther.
Right.
And it's in New York. I'm like, that's a must support.
Yes.
So yeah, that's major.
Yes.
That's super major.
May have to show up. I may have to
pull up.
Yeah, may have to show love. But the problem with me showing love is that they expect me to work. Sometimes I just want to show love.
Can I just be there as an attendee?
Right.
Can I just help out?
They're like, Nikki, capture this. And I'm like, this is why I don't show up. So it's not that I'm not supportive. I just don't feel like working. Like, I can never go to a place with E. Never. Just to be like, That's why he's supportive. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. And it's the same with Maul. Maul's going to be like, hey, Nikki, did you capture that? No, I didn't. I want to be a human. Can I be a human? Anyway, I'm just saying. It's how I feel. But,
so it happens when you're good at what you do, man. I guess it's difficult to take off.
I know.